friends, and welcome back to Sheena Naturally. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you are new here, welcome. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. So today, just really quickly, in my previous video, I mentioned, books and reading during this quarantine, and I figured I would make my suggestions for top books that I think you guys should read if you haven't already. So I have them right here. So I have 5 of the 6. There are 6 books that I recommend, but I have 5 of the 6. The 6th one somehow disappeared. Don't know where it is. I actually just reordered it. I cannot talk today. I just reordered it, so hopefully it'll get here before the end of the month. I don't know, because shipping and everything's been really crazy. So the first book is by Bernice McFadden. She's one of my favorite authors. I really love the way that she writes. This book is called Sugar, and it's set in, I think, the 1950s, and it's pretty much about a prostitute that moves into this small town, and she moves next door to a woman who had previously lost her daughter. Her daughter was murdered, and so she moves next door in the house next door to her, and the two kind of form, unexpectedly, they form a relationship. And so throughout the book, it's, these two women with different pasts, they kind of connect on a certain level, and they're able to relate to each other. Sugar is more than a prostitute that everyone is calling her. So it's really about the bond between the two women and how meeting changed their lives forever and the lives of the community and everything. It's a really nice book. Bernice McFadden is a really nice author. She really draws you in, and you feel like the character. So that's why she's one of my favorite authors. Book number 6 was also written by her, but I'll get to that at the end. Next is Eric Jerome Dickey, Milk in My Coffee. This novel was really, 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 really good. I haven't read this in a really long time, but it's about a guy who, I think he's like from Tennessee, and he moves up to New York, and he's in a relationship, and so he's dealing with this long distance relationship or whatnot, and but he meets this woman who happens to be white, and so it's pretty much an interracial couple trying to go about their lives, and they're getting met with their hidden roadblocks, or getting met with I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Or are they just getting met with a lot of frustrations, or they're dealing with a lot of frustrations from like their friends and their family that are kind of like against it. So it's really a nice novel, very eye-opening into interracial dating. I personally don't have any experience in that, but it's a really good novel. Eric Jerome Dickey is a great author. I love his books. He has a lot of books that I actually own over here. So that one's a good read. Okay. Most of you guys probably have read this. If you haven't, shame on you. But it's The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. This book was so good. And of course, there's 2 other books that followed this like years later. But The Coldest Winter Ever. Winter is this young girl. She's spoiled, young rich girl. Her dad's this big, kingpin. She's rich and she's spoiled. She gets whatever she wants. She manipulates people into getting what she wants. And, you know, everybody is pretty much, you know, all about Winter until her dad gets locked up, and it pretty much all goes downhill from there for her. She continues to, you know, do what her dad taught her as far as like, you know, doing a little side hustle and everything, but she ends up in like a group home where she meets Sister Soldier, who tries to mentor her and things like that. But it's really a story about this young girl who had it pretty much rags, or, you know, from she had it all to had nothing at all. And well, I can't tell you that part because that's the end of the book, but it's a really good novel. Pretty much young girl who's, you know, she has it all, and then all of a sudden her world crumbles when her dad gets locked up. So a really good read. And then the next two, oh my God, I love these books so much. Like, I didn't think I was going to like these books, but it's definitely, once you start, you cannot finish. Like Children of Blood and Bone, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, pretty much it's about, you know, this young girl living, isn't, you know, like Nigeria, I believe. And she's from this clan where they had practiced magic and everything like that. But, you know, they're being pretty much, the country's being ruled by people who don't want there to be any magic. And so it's a fight for magic and for them to be themselves and to own magic and just to live the way that it was meant for them to live. And so it's like a lot of action. It's a lot like it. Oh my gosh, these novels are so good. They draw you in. Really good reads, and like the details. Oh my gosh, just look at the detail inside the map of the city or the country. Like it's wonderful. And so like, you know, they go and like they pretty much the king tries to eliminate those with magic because they fear magic, and it's oh my God. I don't want to talk too much about it because then I'm going to start rambling, and then I'm going to start like telling you guys about the books. So I'm trying to contain myself, but they're really good reads. I would guess they would be categorized as young adults. So if you have teenagers that are into like the young adult fantasy, these will be some great reads. So I definitely suggest these. Like these will definitely get your imagination going. They would definitely draw you in and keep you entertained. Like they will keep you entertained. Like I was reading those books and I just couldn't stop, like turning pages. Book number 6, which I do not have, is not pictured here, is by Bernice McFadden. And I would say this particular book is probably one of my favorite books. It's called Nowhere is a Place. Friends that always ask me about books, I always suggest that book. Like that's always my number one suggestion, because that book, it speaks to me. So the book is pretty much about a woman and her mother. They have kind of a not so great relationship. If I remember correctly, they only spoke to each other on the phone maybe once a month. The daughter, Sherry, she has a memory of her mother slapping her when she was younger, and she never knew like why my mother slapped me. So she was just haunted by that. Like all her life, she's haunted by that. And so their family is having a family reunion, I believe in Alabama. And so her and her mother are pretty much gonna drive together cross country to go to a family reunion. These are two women that only speak on the phone once a month. You know, so you can imagine how this road trip is gonna go. But it's really just unlocking, the two women unlocking family secrets, and they are having this, they're getting to know each other pretty much on this road trip, and getting to this family reunion and learning so much about the past and their family and just secrets being revealed. So the book is, I don't know, I felt it on a more personal level. And again, Bernice McFadden is a great author. She draws you in and it makes you feel like you're a character in the novel. So it's a great read. It's definitely one of my favorite books. So I always suggest others read it as well. So those are my top books. Sugar by Bernice McFadden, The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah, Eric Jerome Dickey, Milk and My Coffee, and then of course, Children of Blood and Bone. Why am I so tongue-tied today? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi. I cannot pronounce her last name. Adiyame. I'm gonna have to Google and like Google the pronunciation of her name. But these are all like really great books. They'd be great for those of you who are maybe haven't read books in a while, or you know, you're just trying to read. You know, reading is not really your thing. These books will definitely keep you interested, definitely keep you entertained. So yeah, so those are the 6 books, my 6 suggestions for you guys to read during this quarantine. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you have other suggestions, please drop them in the comments. Let me know. I may or may not have read them. I do have a stack of books that are on my to be read list, but I'm slowly making my way down. But I'm always willing to make purchases for books because books are my first love. So leave those book suggestions down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.